Hi, yes, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, February 10th. Rather calm morning here with some sunshine here in the Mid-Atlantic region. However, clouds are already advancing quickly from the west to the east, and the big city should thicken up with clouds this afternoon ahead of what will turn out to be quite a complicated weather situation later on tonight and tomorrow. We have a series of systems headed our way. One, an Arctic front from the northwest. Two, a developing storm along the coast. Three, an upper level disturbance that's quite energetic. And four, some Gulf moisture actually getting involved in the whole situation. Well, let's take a look at the latest surface map. Right now, again, it's rather calm here along the east coast. We have high pressure pretty much dominating here. And again, skies are clear, but there are clouds, thick clouds already advancing into western Pennsylvania and central Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And all of these are moving from the west to the east. So the sunshine will give way quickly to clouds later on this morning and especially this afternoon. Meanwhile, up to the north and west, cold Arctic air. This is a huge high pressure system, an Arctic high pressure system right here in the southern part of Canada. And here is your Arctic blast headed into the northeast for the weekend. And that plays a pivotal role in our weather as well. Now, meanwhile, down to the south, there's some Gulf moisture here, and that'll help to ride up the east coast and set off a storm right along the Carolina coast that'll then ride up off the coast, but nonetheless along the coast, parallel to the coast, and that plays a big role as well over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Well, here's the way the current IR satellite loop looks. First of all, you can kind of tell where the Arctic air is. It's right over here where it's totally clear in the southern part of Canada and now into the northern plains. And it's a very, very cold day today, obviously, here in the northern plains. This Arctic air is headed right for the Mid-Atlantic region and the Northeast later on this week and will especially be felt tomorrow night and Sunday. Meanwhile, here's the frontal system right here with a band of clouds associated with that frontal system. Some Gulf moisture getting involved in the whole system here along the East Coast. And you can see some low clouds already advancing east across West Virginia and western and central Pennsylvania. That will fill into the big cities late this morning and this afternoon. Well, let's walk through this event. It's a complicated event. Let's try to piece things together here for the entire Mid-Atlantic region. First of all, this is for this evening, and right about this time, precipitation, light precipitation, will be moving into just to the west of D.C. and across central Pennsylvania. So it'll be dry today. It'll be dry into the early part of the evening. But then mid-evening or so, there can be some precipitation breaking out, especially around the D.C. region and then in the Philadelphia region. The temperatures will probably be warm enough for that initial onset of precipitation to be in the form of rain or perhaps a mixture of rain and snow. Now, this is the GFS map for tomorrow morning, and by late tonight, it should turn cold enough for most of that precipitation to change to snow across the D.C. suburbs especially, and then throughout the Philadelphia region. By morning, it ought to be snowing, and perhaps rather steadily, especially across southeastern Pennsylvania and places north and east. But even in the D.C. Region, there can be some steadier snow right around daybreak. You can see the precipitation field by the GFS is a little bit heavier than what was there for the previous evening, as a storm is now developing off the Carolina coast. Now, one thing to note here is the real cold air, the real Arctic air, is still kind of bottled up west of the mountains here as of tomorrow morning into the western part of Pennsylvania and points north and west. So the Arctic air does not really get involved in the early morning hours, and yet it should turn cold enough for most of the precipitation to fall in the form of snow by tomorrow morning, as this developing storm off the coast brings in a little bit colder air from the north and northeast into the big cities region. Now, the snow will certainly be steady in the New York City region, and all in all, it looks like the farther north and east one goes over the next 12 to 24 hours, the more snow can fall. I expect perhaps an inch or so in the D.C. region, 1 to 3 inches or so in the Philadelphia metropolitan region, and 2 to 4 inches in the New York City region. All this can be adjusted slightly over the next 6 to 12 hours or so stay tuned. But now let's jump ahead to tomorrow night. This is GFS map for tomorrow night. Now, by this time, that storm, which started off the Carolina coast, has moved north and east, and the real cold Arctic air is now flooding into the region on strong north to northwest winds here. And you can see there actually is still a little band of snow shower activity, especially over the D.C. region here in the Mid-Atlantic region. So even though the steadier precipitation with that developing storm may end latter part of the morning or midday hours tomorrow, there definitely can be some more snow shower activity and maybe even a little small accumulation with the real arrival of the Arctic air tomorrow afternoon and evening. So just because the steadier snow ends for a while, don't be surprised, especially down across southern Pennsylvania and northern Maryland into the D.C. region, if there's another couple hours of snow shower activity, maybe even a little heavier snow burst or so, as that real cold Arctic air blasts into the region on increasingly strong north to northwest winds. Well, one last thing I want to show, this is from Bob Hart's and Ryan Maui's coolweather.com site. The GFS output in terms of an hour-by-hour analysis for the precipitation type for this particular upcoming event. This is for the Washington, D.C. area, specifically Reagan National Airport, and this is showing here that the GFS as of 0Z last night is predicting something I believe will be the result. Rain changing to snow over a several-hour period, and up here you can see the totals here. And according to GFS, this is predicting about 1.5 inches of snow right here in the D.C. region. And again, that is generally what I believe will happen. Start off as rain, probably 1 inch or so of snow, but things can be adjusted later on today, so certainly stay tuned. Now let's take a look at Philadelphia and then New York City. Here's the hour-by-hour output by the 0Z GFS run last night for Philadelphia, and here it's predicting almost 3 inches of snow, 0.29 liquid equivalent, but about 2.9 inches of snow. And again, basically a rain changing to snow situation. By the way, there's another possible snow event coming around Tuesday or so, but we'll have more on that later on. Now let's take a look at New York City. Here's the New York City output by the GFS, specifically for LaGuardia Airport, and this is putting out about 4.49 here, 4.5 inches of snow or so out of the GFS, primarily a snow event up in the New York City region. So the general theme here is, as one goes north and east along the Mid-Atlantic coast over the next 12 to 24 hours, you can expect more in the way of snowfall accumulations, probably 1 inch or so in the D.C. region, 1 to 3 inches in the Philadelphia region, and 2 to 4 inches in the New York City region. Again, things may be adjusted later on today, so stay tuned to the SIweather.com. More accumulating snow headed for the Mid-Atlantic region, and the stormy active pattern continues for the next week to 10 days. That's it for now. I'm the meteorologist, Paul Dorian, here for